Hello everyone, thank you for joining today's webinar, Rover Product Enhancements v5.26, Auto-Assign Rooms, Do Not Disturb Status, and more, presented by Stay in Touch Implementation Consultant Tyrus McGlone. I'm your host, Erin Fisher, the content writer here at Stay in Touch. Today's presentation will cover how you can get the most out of Rover v5.26 product release. In this webinar, we will discover the addition of the Do Not Disturb status, explore how the activity log now records printing, storage, and archival of the registration card, review the Update Existing Reservations prompt added to the Group Allotment Summary tab, explore the new Add Loyalty Programs option for Zest Web, discover the addition of hotel information to stationery for Zest Station and Zest Web, review the No Service label added to the room status screen, explore new reports added to scheduled reports as well as reports that are now exportable, highlight the new Auto Assign Rooms button added to the room diary, and illustrate how rooms will not auto-assign when overlapping reservations exist. We will have a short Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Feel free to submit questions throughout the presentation, and we will answer them in the order they are received at the end. And that's all I have right now. Tyrus, I'm going to hand over the presentation to you.
Thank you, Erin.
1 second.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Erin. Good morning, everyone. As Erin so kindly mentioned, I will go over today's webinar with you guys. And first, I want to start off by going over the Do Not Disturb status that we've added in the housekeeping section. So this is a setting that needs to be toggled on first, which most managers that have configured the property should have access to toggle this on. So I'm going to start by going to the menu option, the hamburger menu in the top left, going down to settings and submenu, which is settings as well. And of course, anything housekeeping related will be in the rooms section of Rover. So I'm going to simply go to the rooms tab, and then I'm going to go to housekeeping. So within the housekeeping section, most of you guys are probably familiar with the inspected room status, pickup room status, queued rooms. We have added the toggle for use do not disturb status. This is currently toggled on for my training environment. If you would like to use do not disturb in your live environment, you would simply take the same steps and toggle this on. Now, when do not disturb is toggled on, you can actually change the actual room for that particular guest to do not disturb as you're going through to clean these rooms on a daily basis. I'll simply go to housekeeping and room status. So if you are a housekeeping agent or housekeeping manager and you're going through your floors and a person has a do not disturb sign up, you can actually flip this room to do not disturb. That way it doesn't affect anything on your actual boards or discrepancies at the end of the day. Now this status only works for rooms that are currently occupied. If you have a vacant room, you will not see the status. So for example, if I click on room 05 here, and I go to the work tab, you'll simply just see clean, dirty, inspected pickup. However, if I go back to my room status, and I'm just going to scroll down to a room that's currently vacant. As you can see, I currently have room 05, which has do not disturb already turned on. There is a person that's occupied in that room. I'll scroll to another room that actually has someone occupied. Let's choose room 1022. If I go to room 1022 and I go to the work tab, I can simply hit do not disturb. When I hit do not disturb, the status does change to purple. So again, this status only comes into play when you have an actual occupied room. You will not see do not disturb for a vacant room. All right, next on my list is the activity log. most of you guys will pay attention to activity log when it comes to checking in, who created the key for the reservation, all of that good stuff. However, we have added the new records of registration card printing, as well as any storage or archival registration cards. So if you have Google Drive or maybe an S3 account activated, we do have the ability to basically list those activities inside of that. Here's the actual screenshot here that I've captured from an actual activity log. As you can see, the first option here is the registration card print. We also have highlighted in red closer to the bottom the archival registration. Again, this is if you have a Google or S3 Drive account set up, or Dropbox. All right. Next, we have on the review the group updates for group rates. So most of the properties that create groups, you may either use a configured rate or a custom rate. A custom rate, of course, you're creating that rate as you're building the group. If you're using a configured rate, it's more for reservations that are basically configured on the backend rate config. So if I go to my menu option, I'm going to go to groups and manage groups because I definitely want to see the groups that are already built. I'm going to choose one group, which is, I believe it's called business groups, my property. So if I go to my business group, I'm going to go to the actual summary page. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see my custom rate here. Again, this is currently on custom rate. If I want to switch this to any other configured rate or maybe change my custom rate, I'll choose Revenate rate. If I were to do that, it's going to give me the option to either modify the new and existing reservations or just new reservations only. Now, if you were to modify new and existing, again, any reservations that have been picked up will be modified. Any new reservations, if you were to choose that, just new reservations, only those will be modified. Existing reservations will keep that same rate. Now, what happens if you have a group that's currently checked in, or half of the reservations are checked in? If you were to keep new and existing, any reservations that have already been checked in will not be modified, only those new reservations. All right. Also, we've added the ability to add loyalty programs to the Zest web platform. So those properties that are utilizing the mobility of Zest web, we've added that for you. So I'll simply go to settings. And again, this is backend configuration. So any management team that may have access to the configuration, I'm going to simply go to Zest on the left-hand side. And I'm going to simply hit check-in. Now, the loyalty program option will be closest to the bottom of the screen. And here we have it, add loyalty program. This is currently toggled on. What does this mean? When a guest is actually checking in, during the check-in process on Zest Web, it will simply ask them if they have a frequent flyer number or maybe a hotel loyalty program number. You can simply enter that, or the guest can simply enter that during that time. Now, it is for tracking purposes, but it's tracking internally. This information is not translated or transferred out to any of the airline carriers or also any of the partnered hotels. So again, this is specifically for tracking purposes internally, if you guys choose to collect that. All right, next on the list is the review for the no service label, which is no service based on the stay card. This is something that has been out for a while. However, we made a few tweaks to it. So if I come here to my dashboard and choose any stay over reservation, I'll simply choose Savitas reservation in S006. All right, so this is the actual stay card. Again, if you want to toggle on the no service, you will simply scroll down. We have the room attendance toggle. This is a chevron arrow, so I'm going to break this down for more detail. And we have the service on and off toggle. If the service is toggled off, and what you currently see, no service will be listed on that reservation for that guest. Now, again, if this is toggled on, I would highly advise making sure the guest does not want service throughout the entirety of their stay. If it's for 1 or 2 night guests, of course, it's perfectly fine. If you have guests that are staying longer than 3 nights, you may simply want to use the do not disturb status for a night or two, just for liability purposes. If this is toggled off, again, no service will be calculated in the task management board. So during your morning shifts and you're going through your task management, this one will not be shown for tasks for a stay-over clean or anything of that nature. It will only reset when that guest is checking out and it has gone to a departure clean. If I were to go to my housekeeping room status and type in S006, I believe that is the room number. As you can see here, this is the room number. At the guest, this room is currently occupied and it says no service. Again, I would recommend this for 1 and 2 nighter guests. If you have guests that are staying longer than, or extended stay guests, maybe for a week, I would not advise toggling this on, as it will not reset until the guest checks out, unless you were to manually go and toggle it back on. All right, next we're going to go to the report scheduler. So if I simply go to menu, reports, we have 3 options here. Most of the properties, I know you guys are really excited about reports, and so far scheduling reports. We're constantly implementing new reports to schedule throughout our numerous releases that we come out with throughout the year. If I go to schedule report export, we're currently highlighting on schedule reports now. 2 of the reports that we have added, it's going to be occupancy and revenue summary report. So I'm basically going to new, and I'm scrolling down, and in alphabetical order, I'll get to the O section, and I'll see occupancy and revenue summary. Again, this allows me to schedule this report. We also have deposit balance summary, which is now set up for scheduling. So you can set your parameters, whether you want the report to come out daily, maybe once a day, 3 times a day. If you would like the report maybe weekly, you can certainly set up your parameters how you like. Also, going to deposit balance summary, this is now exportable into a CSV file. However, if you want this export into a CSV file, you will need to run this report as new, and you will need to run it manually. So I'm going to simply get out of the scheduled reports. I'm going to go back to menu, report, and I'm going to simply hit new report. I'm going to simply type in deposit and search for my deposit balance summary. And I'm going to run this report. Of course, it's going to go to your report inbox. If you ever run a new report and you see this in progress, just simply hit this refresh option beneath the hamburger menu. The report should refresh itself. Some reports may take a little longer if it is in progress due to the length of the report. However, you will see that the report is now exportable. If you hit this purple download option, it will download for you. Just going to open this here in my files. And this is the CSV format for this report. All right, and last but not least, we actually have 2 of them, but they're pretty much tied together. It's regarding the room diary and auto assign. So if I go to my menu option, front desk, room diary, as you can see here, the room diary displays all of the reservations in my system that have room assignments at this time, whether they're arrivals, whether they're departures, whether they're in-house guests. Of course, blue represents in-house guests, green represents arrival, red represents departure. However, if you look to the far right-hand side of the screen, I have a bed icon with the number 2. This number 2 bed icon represents 2 reservations that I have arriving today that have not been assigned. So most of the time, I'm assuming you guys will kind of just click on one of the reservations here to actually assign them one by one. We've now added the auto assign option here at the very bottom for easy access to assign all reservations or all outstanding reservations at one time. Now, the last point of auto assign for the actual room diary, this system will not assign rooms that are overlapping reservations. So what does that mean? If I have a reservation, let's say in room 1, and they're departing today, and I have another arrival coming in today, it will not assign that reservation. So there are a few restrictions to that. Yeah. And Erin, I'll hand it back to you for any questions.
Great. Thank you, Tyrus, for that insightful presentation. I'd now like to turn over the floor for questions. Remember, you can submit questions through the question box in the middle of the control panel. All right, so our first question is, can hotel information concerning COVID-19 be added to the regular registration card or confirmation letter for guests that don't use ZestWeb or ZestStation?
Yes, it can. So if I go here to, I'm going to go back to the settings option. And again, this will be under hotel and staff and stationary. And the hotel information screen, if I add new, I can basically just put a title there for COVID-19 related information. Again, this only applies to ZestStation and ZestWeb. It's pretty much like your terms and conditions. However, for guests that are not using that ZestWeb or ZestStation, I would simply suggest applying it to your normal terms and conditions. If you have one in place, you can always apply to ZestWeb and ZestStation here, or the confirmation letter, or your standard registration card.
All right. And the next question is, when using auto room assign in the room diary, will all rooms be automatically assigned?
Great question again. So all rooms will not be necessarily assigned. If the guest has preferences or feature requests on their profile, so that's maybe high floor, low floor, away from elevator, based on what's available, you may have a few restrictions that may block those rooms from being auto assigned. So for example, if I have 20 rooms that need to be auto assigned, and I go ahead and proceed with that process, it may come back with an error of, let's say, 2 rooms that could not be assigned due to restrictions or preferences or something of that nature. So the answer to that question is yes, you may have a few restrictions that may block it.
Great. And so right now I don't see any more questions. I'll give everyone a few more seconds to enter those. All right, since there are no, oh, we just got one in. So this is from Scott. Regarding auto assign, will OTAs not auto assign?
So great question, Scott. There are no restrictions on any rate types. Like I said, as long as that actual reservation itself doesn't have any restrictions so far as like, preferences. And so for example, if I have an OTA reservation through Expedia and I don't have any preferences so far as high floor, low floor, away from elevator, if that room is available, it will go ahead and assign me to that particular room, whether it's dirty or clean.
Great. So since there are no more questions, I'd like to take to the floor to offer some final thoughts. All right, so in this webinar, we discovered the addition of Do Not Disturb status, explored how the activity log now records printing, storage, and archival of the registration card, reviewed the Update Existing Reservations prompt added to the Group and Allotment Summary tab, explored the new Add Loyalty Programs option for ZestWeb, discovered the addition of hotel information to stationary for ZestStation and ZestWeb, reviewed the No Service label added to the room status screen, explored new reports added to scheduled reports, as well as reports that are now exportable, highlighted the new Auto Assign Rooms button added to the room diary, and illustrated how rooms will not auto assign when overlapping reservations exist. With that, I'd like to conclude our presentation. Thank you all for coming, and if you have any additional questions, please feel free to email me at erin.fisher@stayintouch.com. Thanks again.